Welcome back to Movies Recapped. Today I will show you an action thriller from 2015, called Black Hat. Warning: spoilers ahead. Watch out and enjoy. Chaiwan, Hong Kong is home to a nuclear power plant. Everything is going fine until the unthinkable happens. A hacker gets past all the levels of security and causes a coolant pump to overheat and explode. The workers bravely stay on the scene to prevent a full meltdown from happening. Cut to the inside of a prison. A man in a cell is pulled out so that guards can search it. They find a cell phone and accuse him of transferring $900 into the accounts of people in his cell block. It turns out that at the same time the attack in China happened, there were attacks made in the US on the same type of reactors. Those, though, were unsuccessful. It appears that there was no motivation for these attacks, no political statement was made, there was no demand for money, and no further threats made. The Chinese specialists say that their American counterparts in the FBI were able to capture the coding used to hack the system, and ask them to see it so that they can prevent it from happening again. The Americans are hesitant to share the code with the Chinese experts, saying that they usually are on opposite sides of the cyber battle. Eventually they do decide to share the code, saying it would be nice to work together for once. However, they are very cautious about what gets shared, worried about what the Chinese may learn. Captain Chen Dai, a member of the cyber warfare unit in the Chinese People's Liberation Army, is assigned to find the hacker. He recruits his sister, a network engineer named Li En, to help him. Soon after the nuclear reactors are attacked, the Mercantile Stock Exchange in Chicago is hacked, which causes soy futures to go up. The FBI and Chinese experts are able to determine that both of the hacks were performed using a remote access tool, or a RAT. Chen meets with the FBI about the attacks in LA. They believe that the coding used in the two events was written by two different people. The styles of code are too different. Chen later meets in private with FBI Special Agent Carol Barrett. He reveals to her that the, as the FBI put it, elegant coding used in the RAT was written by him. He worked on it with his college roommate, a man named Nicholas Hathaway, who just so happens to be the man in prison that we saw earlier. The two men wrote it while they were studying at MIT. Chen says that if the FBI wants to be able to catch the hacker responsible, then they need to temporarily release Hathaway, who is in jail for hacking banks, and get his help. The FBI doesn't want to do this, but knowing he's their best option, agrees to at least meet with him. Hathaway knows that he will be vital to the investigation and only agrees to help if his sentence is shortened. The FBI agrees, so long as Hathaway has limited computer and internet access while he is out of prison, that he wears an ankle monitor, and that he be constantly accompanied by a U.S. Marshal named Mark Jessup. Hathaway and Chen immediately get on Barrett's bad side by allowing Hathaway to look at a computer without her approval, despite them examining the code that they wrote. They determine that whoever used it on the nuclear reactor attack tweaked and repurposed it. Barrett threatens to end the current arrangement, sending Hathaway back to jail and Chen home to China, but Chen's sister interrupts and de-escalates the argument. The team comes up with a possible lead involving a former employee at the trade exchange, and Hathaway speculates that he has just been practicing. The real job is yet to come. Hathaway says that they're better off going in themselves, as civilians, to get a look at their suspect because he is most likely monitoring local police chatter. If the FBI were to have the local authorities move in to pick him up, he would hear it with enough time to run. The others agree and fly back to LA. Hathaway and Li En get into the suspect's hotel room, and find that he is dead from what appears to be a drug overdose, though the investigators suspect murder. They go through his belongings, including his computers. Hathaway arranges a meeting with the hacker's partner, and then manages to manipulate the GPS tracker in his ankle monitor so that he has a little more freedom. While they wait for the mystery partner to arrive, Hathaway tells Li En about his life before prison. Their plan is a bust, though, as the partner never shows up. They do notice a camera watching them, and Hathaway follows the camera to a computer and messages with the hacker, telling him that he is on the hacker's trail. The two are attacked as they try to leave the restaurant, and Hathaway fends the men off. They suspect that the whole meeting was a setup arranged by the hackers to see what all the investigators know. Once they are out of danger and alone, Hathaway and Li En sleep together. They also share with each other sensitive moments from their pasts. While Hathaway and Li En were in LA, Captain Chen and Agent Barrett have been looking into the people that benefited most from the soy futures rising. There were 3 people that sold large amounts of the shares at the most opportune time, making each of them a ton of money. All 3 can be traced to locations in Hong Kong. The team flies to China. While there, they partner with a police inspector named Alex Trang. They manage to track the stock exchange money to a paramilitary operative called Elias Kassar. At the site of the damaged nuclear reactor, the employees are still working to prevent a meltdown. The building is still too hot to enter, and the computers that would have saved the information about the attack are unable to be reached. The team reviews the GPS and the phones of the people that benefited from the soy futures and discover that all three went to the same spot in the city. Hathaway suggests that they met with a middleman there. The team goes to this place and discovers that it is under surveillance by another branch of the Chinese police. They learn that Kossar goes to this place every morning to meet with someone, but that no one ever shows up. He just messes with his phone. Hathaway finds a short-range Bluetooth transmitter nearby, which is how Kossar is communicating to the others in the group. He sends a message to the transmitter, and later the others walk by and are able to pick it up. Finally, the hackers start to move the money they made off the soy shares. When he opens the door to tell Hathaway this news, Chen finds his sister in bed with Hathaway and is obviously emotional about this development. The team of agents, along with the Chinese Special Duties Unit team, raid Kossar's hideout. This results in a shootout in a drainage tunnel and the deaths of Trang and several of his men. In the chaos, Kossar and his team are able to escape. Finally, the nuclear power plant has stabilized enough for the data drive to be recovered and the information on it to be examined. Unfortunately, it has been corrupted by radiation and they are not able to glean any useful information from it. The National Security Agency has a software program called Black Widow that has the ability to repair the data on the damaged data drive, but they refuse to allow the Chinese to have access to it. Knowing it's the only way to get the information, Barrett allows Hathaway to hack into the NSA to use Black Widow. By doing this, they are able to find that the server the hackers use is based in Jakarta, and Lien discovers that the hacker has been buying satellite images of a site near Seri Manjung, Malaysia. Unfortunately for the team tracking the hackers, Hathaway's hack into Black Widow wasn't as secure as he thought, and he is caught. For his illegal actions, the NSA and FBI demand that the deal be off and Hathaway should be returned to prison. Although they see Hathaway as an asset, Chen's superiors think it would be in the best interest of Chinese-American cooperation if he was sent back to jail. Chen ignores this order and tells Hathaway these plans. Hathaway and Lien's relationship has moved past just the physical and has entered romantic territory. The two argue about where her place is, should she stay with the investigative team, or flee with Hathaway. Chen tells her that the answer is neither, she should just go home. While Lien and Hathaway argue, one of Kossar's men puts a tracking device on Chen's car. With this, they are able to follow him, and they shoot a rocket launcher at him. He is killed in the blast. The hackers approach the car and open fire on the investigators. Barrett and Jessup are able to take down several of the hackers' team, but it isn't long until they are also killed in the gunfire. Hathaway and Lien are able to escape the fighting by getting to the subway. Once out of immediate danger, Lien uses her contacts to get the two to Malaysia to investigate the satellite images purchased by the hackers. The two go to the location of the coordinates and find seemingly nothing of importance. All that is there is a tin mine. They go into a control room and see that the pumps used there are the same brand as what the reactor used, meaning that they can be hacked the same way. Hathaway is sure that the attack on the power plant was just a test, and that there's something bigger to come. He says the hackers are going to use the code to damage a large dam nearby in order to destroy several large tin mines all nearby. This would cause there to be a shortage and for the demand to rise. The hackers would then use the money they acquired from the soy shares to buy tin options while they are cheap and sell them while they are high. Hathaway uses his skills along with Lien working undercover to hack into a bank and drain the hackers' bank accounts. He also leaves a note for them with a phone number to contact him at. They are forced to get in touch with him. They negotiate terms around returning the money and the tin mine hits. Since Hathaway wrote the code the hackers are using, one of the hackers, Sadak, is interested in meeting him. They arrange to meet and further discuss their partnership. Fully expecting to be double-crossed, Hathaway builds some homemade weapons and body armor, which he hides under his clothing. Even though Hathaway told Sadak and Kossar to come alone, they bring their team of goons along for protection. Luckily, Lien spies them before Hathaway arrives and lets him know. Hathaway calls Sadak and gives them a new location to meet at, saying that they come alone or the meeting is off. The new location is a busy park during a packed religious celebration. Before he shows himself to the hackers, who still have their henchmen with them, Hathaway follows them for a bit until he is caught by Kossar and held at gunpoint. While being patted down, Hathaway surprises Kossar and quickly stabs and kills him with one of his hidden weapons. Sadak gets to the scene and tells Hathaway that he won't mourn the loss of Kossar, he was just a man hired to do the work Sadak didn't want to do. Hathaway says that since Sadak killed his friends, he takes care of his own dirty work and points a gun at Sadak. Sadak's men then shoot at Hathaway amidst the crowd of revelers. Although he is shot several times, Hathaway is able to take down Sadak's men with a gun he stole from Kossar. Hathaway is stabbed by Sadak, but, thanks to his makeshift body armor, the damage isn't as bad as it could have been. He gets the knife from Sadak and kills him. Lien finds Hathaway in the panicking crowd and gets him somewhere safer and she mends his wounds. Once he is healed, they leave Indonesia with all of Sadak's money. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.